Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Enigmatica 2 Expert. Now, if you guys celebrated it, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. You can probably tell I sound pretty tired. I had a very busy, very busy Thanksgiving. And part of it was very spur-of-the-moment, last-minute decision, so I didn't really have any time to give you guys a heads up as to what was going on. But we had Thanksgiving, of course, Wednesday and Thursday. 4 different ones in total that we had to go to. And then Thursday night and Friday, which it was quite a rush because we went to Black Friday shopping at Walmart basically just because they had some towels that we wanted. We ended up picking up a couple other things. So we went and got the towels, and then we had to rush over to my cousin's house for another Thanksgiving party, which had started at 6, but Black Friday shopping didn't really start till 6, so we were there like 40 minutes later, you know. But yeah, so we did a bit of shopping on Thursday and Friday, just getting some stuff together. And then, since my grandmother couldn't make it down, she had just recently had like a surgery. I can't remember what kind of surgery it was on her eye, one of her eyes. And so anyway, she couldn't make it down from St. Louis, or she's kind of close to St. Louis. But so anyways, we had to go, or we didn't have to. You know, we decided, you know, as a family to go up there and spend a bit of time with her, just so she wasn't, you know, I mean, she has her siblings up there, but that way she got to see us and everything. So we were gone most of the weekend. Didn't get back in till late Sunday night, and then I slept. So it was quite a busy weekend. So, but I hope you guys had a great one. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, of course, and I hope you guys had a good time with your family or friends or whatever. So, anyways, now back to Enigmatica. It's taken me a little bit, you know, to get back into the swing of things, or sort of into the swing of things. So, when we left off in the last episodes, we were basically working on some forestry stuff, and you know, we pretty much knocked out most of these quests. The only remaining quest for forestry is right here, this apiarist armor. We can make this now. So what we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to pop over to the jungle. Our little jungle teleport here. And right here we should be plenty of silky combs, I should think. I'm going to leave it running. We'll find out. But we do have quite a bit of bees building up, which we'll make use of as well. Let's pop back home. And let's grab our centrifugal separator. And we're just going to plug this thing up somewhere for right now. I was wanting to actually work on like a little area for the bees, building that, but I didn't quite get it done. I did get a little bit of work done. Actually, I guess I should pop down and show you. I did get a little bit of work done down in the astral area. It's not a lot. But I did get, you'll notice a lot of the black concrete is down now. Water is spread out and stuff like that. And I got the sky stone harvested to finish out, you know, these 2 pillars. And then I started working on this wall over here. I've actually got more sky stone. I didn't use all of it, but I did get started on that a little bit. And that's most of what I got done. Like I said, I was gone so much. Oh, and I finished building out this a little bit and opening up some of this and that side. And I mean, that's the main things. Like I said, I didn't really have as much time as I originally had planned for. So, anyways, let's pop up here the centrifugal separator. If we toss in our silky comb, it's gonna start running. It's decently fast, and you'll notice that we are getting silky propolis, which we can then separate again and get propolis and silk wisp, which I think is really the main use for that. I mean, that uses pretty much any kind of propolis, so that's not a biggie. Genetic filter, I'm imagining, yeah, it uses any kind of propolis. I think it's going to be the case for most of this stuff, is it's going to use any kind of propolis. So we can just process it down, try to get that silk wisp. And let's pop down here, and let's pull up the thermal stuff real quick. I wouldn't mind, you know, maybe getting an upgrade kit or 2, probably 2. And then we'll get a couple of the auxiliary reception coils as well. Just because it doesn't hurt to speed up the machine a little bit more. And apply our upgrades and augments. There you go. Okay, and this is backed up right now. It can't give us any more honey drops. But look at that speed. So much better now. Until the lag spike hits. Then it gets a little bit slower, but that's okay. Pow. There we go. We're going to try to get our silk wisps. Are we really not going to have enough? We should have enough for this. Yeah. Okay, so what we're wanting to make here is the apiary stuff. And this just requires... Oh, we won't have enough because it takes that woven silk, right? Wow, this is going to take so many silk wisps. Honestly, I don't generally even make the apiary stuff because I just don't find much use in it. There is on occasion some packs where it's a little bit more important, but we can easily get rid of any negative effects, like where they attack us. We can easily get rid of that just using gendustry. So the apiary stuff isn't really that important for us. In all actuality, what I'm probably going to do is just leave that thing running. I mean, that thing had been running all weekend. That's all we got. But we can actually bump up the speed pretty easily on it as we move into gendustry. It's not going to be a problem. Let's go ahead and grab these. We can, if nothing else, if nothing else, we can at least craft one piece of this, which will be the boots. So there we go. That's all we got over like a weekend of running with base stat jungle bees. Not very good. Okay, we got credit for that. That's great. We'll put that away in there. And we'll put this away, and we'll put this away. I'm going to keep this stack of honey drops because we are going to want it. We're going to put those right into there, inside of our portable analyzer. So now it's time that we get into some gendustry. What we're going to do, we're going to get the genetic sampler and the genetic imprinter. We're going to set these up. And I would really like to... You know what? Great idea. Let's put these in the workshop. Because this is going to be something... We don't necessarily need it in the bee area. Because it's going to be something that we just kind of come over to whenever we need to work on bee samples. It's not something that we're going to be running, using all the time. And so it's a good workshop item. So we're going to put these setting... Let's see, we'll have all of our gendustry stuff over in this little area, I think. Yeah. So we'll have genetic imprinter. We're going to have genetic... well, actually, let's switch these around here. Genetic sampler, genetic imprinter, right there. Now, the DNA is going to be something that runs constant. It's going to be automated, so we're not going to put that in this little area. That's something that I want to keep separate because we are going to be coming back to that a lot. But that's something I want to keep separate because we're going to just have that fully automated. It's going to be plugged into the system and all the excess bees are going to create DNA. Oh, I did make the rest of these since they're fully automated. That's not all of the controller. It's not just going to be that little box, but that's the first layer basically is down for that. Okay, let me order a nifty power cell. And we've already got one. That's great. And okay, it doesn't have a power cell card. And I'm going to put this back in... I'll put it right there. We're going to say outputs and put that right there. We are almost up to our first billion in power storage. Woot. And we're also going to need something to transfer power. I'm going to go with, in this case, I'm just going to use a flux duct. So, let's see. Let's pull this up. There we go. And I don't know if I want to use an upgraded one, maybe. These transfer 2,000 RF per tick. These transfer 8,000. Yeah, let's upgrade them. So there's 12 hardened flux ducts. That should be fun. 8,000 RF per tick. I mean, these things don't really use all that much. They do use a little bit of power, I will say. But I think 8,000 is going to be plenty, in truth. Okay, so last episode. I think it was last episode. We made some stuff for genetics, basically. We've got some genetic templates. We're going to be using those. We've also got these blank gene samples, and we taught our system how to make labware. Let me go ahead and order like 120 labware. And there we go. It crafts pretty quick because it's basically just a crafting recipe. It's very, very simple. It's not changed in this pack, so you don't have to worry too much about it. We're going to put our genetics labware right there. And our blank gene samples are going to go right there. Okay, and then we're going to put in labware in this one as well, inside the genetic imprinter and sampler both. And then what we need to do, if we want to take some gene samples, we're going to be looking especially at those jungle bees. Well, no, I'm sorry, the end bees is what we want. The only thing, though, about the end bees, I'm going to go grab some more of those, actually. The reason being... No, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Something I noticed with the end bees, which I should have thought about because it's always that way. When you look at a bee, for example, let me grab these tropical drones here. And let's scan these. What we're going to do is we're going to put them right up here, and it's going to scan them. And then we can just kind of tab through the different areas here. But if you look at this first page, it says fertility is 2 times. Okay, that means it makes 2 drones per cycle. And then it also makes a princess. End bees only have 1 times fertility. So they only produce 1 drone per cycle. So you don't end up actually getting anything out of it, per se. You just end up breaking even each rotation. So I don't have any end bees to actually use at the moment. So what we're going to do, let's pop over and let me get a crate that we're going to use for samples. Let me also make, well, I think we've got enough for right this second. Let me get these genetic templates. And I'm also going to want some kind of a smelting system. It doesn't have to be something super powerful. I'm going to use something that's RF based, just because we've already got our RF stuff over there. And we don't have EU set up over there. So I'm just going to go with some sort of a smeltery. I mean, we could go with an external heater from Immersive Engineering, but we could also go with something like Inferium, Prudentium, one of these furnaces here. Supremium's actually not that bad to make, so we might just work our way up to that, I think. Yeah, let me get a block of this. Let me get a furnace. Actually, you know what? Change my mind. Let's go with a nuclear furnace, because I've got uranium out the wazoo, and I think I can use this uranium here for this. We're going to give it a shot anyways. And if we just put this just setting, let's see. We'll put it right there. Alright, so we can smelt things in the nuclear furnace and then they get cycled through. One thing I do want to add is a hopper system. We'll get that here in just a second. Or maybe not even a hopper system, just an item system. Let me get another crate, actually, and we'll do that. And let's get ourselves a couple item ducts and then a couple servos. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull items out of the bottom of our furnace. And we'll go ahead and attach our servo here and say that you can pull out, ignore. For the fuel, we're going to put in... I can't use uranium, no. I can probably use the uranium ingots, but that's not really what I'm getting. And I'm assuming that tiny piles of 235 I cannot use, because I think it has to be converted over to the... Man, that kind of ruins it a little bit, to some extent. Let's see, we're going to try a stack of uranium oxide ingots. I mean, I've got that stuff on hand. It's no biggie. You know, just pop over and grab it occasionally. Yeah, that should work. So we'll put that in there, and then what we're going to do is on top, we're going to have another item duct here, and we're going to have a crate setting, say, right there, and a servo. And I'll show you why that is here in just a minute, and we'll set that to ignore. Okay, so the genetic sampler, what we're going to do is we're going to take our tropical drones. Let's start with 16 of these. Let's just dump in 16. It's going to start running. You'll notice it's not very fast. Okay, so we just got our first one. We've got a B sample lifespan short. What I'm going to do, actually, is let me get a couple more item ducts, in fact, because I need to get all this stuff automated. And let's get a servo. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to run these item ducts down right here. And let me actually get 2 servos, in fact. Just because it's not all that important that we pull out of the genetic imprinter. But we'll go ahead and set it up so that it pulls out, and that'll be fine. So we'll go ahead and set that to ignore redstone, and it should pull out the bee samples. And it should deposit them. There we go. Lifespan short and flowering slowest. Awesome. And I'm going to put these genetic templates right into there. So what's going to happen is it's going to take that bee, it's going to break it down and basically just get traits off of it. And those traits we can then turn around and use, for different stuff. And then everything will just kind of come into the storage crate. If we get things that we don't want, like never sleeps false, we want one that never sleeps. We want that to be true. We can take this and we can dump it into this crate right here, and we're going to see it go into there and get smelted, and we get back our blank gene sample. Now, I think the biggest thing, maybe I need to go with one that's RF based, because every time it smelts one thing, of course, in truth, I'm only going to be emptying these out like in batches and then dumping them. So it actually probably won't be an issue, but I might look into something more just RF based. But basically we need to look through here. Affect poison, we definitely don't want that. I'm actually probably going to keep it in case we ever want a poison bee. It'd be good for like a mob farm or something. Tolerates rain false, we don't want that. We want one that's true. Basically that means it can work in the rain if it's true. Flowering is slowest, don't really care about that. Never sleeps false, don't care about that. Territory average, don't really care about that. Never sleeps false. Fertility of 2, we're going to keep that one, because we're actually going to put that on our NBs. I wouldn't mind a higher fertility, but fertility 2 actually isn't that bad. Territory average, we don't want that. Flowering slowest, we don't want that. Lifespan short, we might keep that. I wouldn't mind shortest lifespan, but, that's not too bad. And then we've got a flowers jungle, which basically allows it to work with vines. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just, we'll keep it. It's one of those, we'll keep just to have it. Humidity tolerance up 1. We'll keep it for now. Tolerate rain false, don't want that. Okay, it's running our very last bee at the moment. We've got a lifespan short, which we've already got one of those saved, so it's not a biggie. And then we got a never sleeps false. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take all of these, and we're just going to dump them into this crate right here. And all of these, and dump them into that crate right there. And so the nuclear furnace is going to start getting them, it's going to start smelting them back down, and we're going to get back our blank gene samples. So all we really wasted was some labware and some drones. Okay, so now we're able to pull off basically certain traits that we want. The jungle bees, there's not a whole lot in here, in truth, that we would want, to be perfectly honest. But one thing we're going to do, let's pop over to... Let's pop over to the... Well, actually, I'll tell you what. We're just going to go to the end. In fact, I think this would be the quickest method for it. I mean, I could pop over and get my bees. But, then we have to wait for... I need a drone and a princess, basically. I need those two to separate. So, you know what? I forgot my scoop back at the base. So I'm going to pop back over and go get my scoop real quick. Aha, there's a hive. Okay. So we'll just smoke them. And we're going to grab our stuff. Okay, so we got an ender drone, ender princess, and then there's a hive. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. I just want the drone and the princess. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these back over to here. And we're going to use these as our first sample bees. So... or our first ender alteration bees, if you will, I guess. Let me go dump off this scoop and smoker real quick. Okay, so if we take and we scan, say, the ender princess, let's take a look at her stats. Now, the ender princess and the ender drone are going to have identical stats. But if we look here, they have a longer lifespan. We don't really want a longer lifespan. We want a shorter lifespan, right? Production is slower. We have pollination is slowest. The pollination and stuff I'm not as concerned about, to be perfectly honest. But flower type is end. Fertility is 1 times. Territory is large. The effect is ends. That's a negative effect that we would like to get rid of. And then you have your climate tolerance. So we have cold up 1, We have humidity is just normal. We have diurnal and nocturnal, which never sleeps right there. That's true. But like, you'll notice right here, fertility is only 1, so we can't get any extra drones by default. What we're going to do is we're going to take these bees. We're going to take one of our genetic templates, and we're going to take, let's go with this fertility 2, and let's go with a short lifespan as well. And then humidity tolerance up 1. I guess we could put that on there for now. Eventually, I'd like to just remove that. But let's go ahead and take these genes that we actually want off the bees. And we're going to add these to this template. So what we've got is we've got a template that's going to apply and override the traits of the bees, primary and secondary traits, to humidity tolerance up 1, lifespan short, fertility 2. Okay, and by primary and secondary, if you look right here, you have active and inactive. I call them primary and secondary, but they're actually active and inactive. And so if I applied this genetic template to this bee, it would have a humidity tolerance up 1 right here on both of these. It would also produce 2 drones per operation, and it would have a short lifespan instead of a longer lifespan, which would be ideal. So what we're going to do then is we're going to put this into the genetic imprinter. We're going to put that right there. It's pulling that out. That's not ideal. I mean, I could add a filter to this. We're going to say blacklist. And let me just add genetic templates. Ignore MBT. Ignore metadata. Okay. So now if I apply this to there, it's going to start running the bee. And we're just going to give it a minute. And you'll notice that it does not consume the genetic template. It does consume 1 piece of labware, which that's fine. And this is going to be, usually I'll have like 1 genetic template that makes my ideal bees. Okay. And that's what we're going to kind of work towards. Now, right now, I've really only got, honestly, I would like to have maybe fertility 3 or 4. Lifespan shortest would be ideal. Humidity tolerance, it doesn't matter so much. The humidity tolerance isn't that important to us. And I'll explain why that is later. But anyways, we're about to have a bee. There we go. And we got our princess and our drone. And now if we scan these, you can see that they have short lifespans. They have 2 times fertility. They have humidity tolerance up 1. So they're a little bit better. And this means that we can start getting those drones from the bees running. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop over to the flower fields where I have them set up. Right here. And we're going to switch these out. I don't really want this Ender Queen. She can finish running. I wouldn't have a problem with her finishing running, maybe. Actually, I don't really even need her, though. Let's trash her. Well, I'll tell you what. Tell you what we'll do. We will pop home. And there is a couple traits that I wouldn't mind getting off of her for, like, our perfect ideal bee. It's not really all that important because they're already on there, and that's going to be the main bee that we're going to run. But I still want to pull those traits off of her. So I'm just going to run her through there. Now, over here, we have some additional bees. You know, like, for example, we've got Modest Queens, Forest Queens, we've got Common. What we can do is we can just scan these. We can see that lifespan is shorter on this drone. It's 2 times fertility. Nothing, still not shortest lifespan. There's nothing major that I want off of this. Nothing crazy that I want off of that. Steadfast is pretty standard. Cave Dwelling. We want Cave Dwelling. Okay, so we're going to need steadfast drones. And that means, and here's a 3 times fertility on the forest. I wouldn't mind bumping that up to 3 times fertility, which we've actually got a forest queen right here. So we'll just go with that. Then we've got a meadows, which actually I think forest has flowers. I want flowers instead of like end or jungle or something like that. I'd rather just have flowers. So we're going to try to get a steadfast. We're going to try to get a forest is what we're going to do. And then we've got this modest queen. She uses cacti. Hot arid. No, I don't really have anything from her that I want. Now we can easily do mutations, and we'll get into that with the Mutatron and the advanced Mutatron. But okay, so what we're going to do, let's get ourselves Did I make any more apiaries? I did not. Well, let's get some more. There's 6 more apiaries. That sounds good. And what we're going to do, I need a tolerates rain true. Which actually are... oh, that's the one we have not found. We found cave dwelling, right? On the steadfast bees. And we have... it's too dry, no flowers. Okay. Let's pop over to the flower fields. And we are going to set up a apiary right here that's going to have our forest queen in it. It says there's no flowers. That's fine. We can easily fix that. There's a flower. Okay. So she's going to start running. Does she really have... oh, she's a tolerant flyer. I did not notice that. The forest bee, tolerant flyer. That means she can fly in the rain. So once we get the end bees, the steadfast bees, and the forest bees, we're going to have diurnal, nocturnal, tolerant flyer, and cave dwelling. Those are the most important things for us. Then I wouldn't mind getting a little bit better production speed. I don't need something crazy. And I also wouldn't mind this 3 times fertility off this forest queen. So what we'll do is we'll just drop her in there. We're going to let her start running. And basically, we're going to have... let's see, how do we want to do this? Let's turn off extract. And judging by the time, we're not going to get bees totally done this episode. We've covered a lot of the gendustry stuff and how we're going about doing this whole process. But okay, we're going to say extract, insert, self-feed enabled, always active. Priority on insert is 1. And then you can insert over here. Priority is 0. Okay. And that's done. That's automated. Whenever she finishes up, it's going to get cycled back through and go into the crate. Okay. And what's nice is once we have this and this, the only way our bees will not run is if they cannot see the sky. And that's what we're going to get off of our steadfast bees, our steadfast drones. And these are really, really common. I've actually passed these up a lot from just chests. You just find them in loot chests. So let's pop back home. We're going to work on this steadfast drone now. Now I could break it down and just try for the genes that I want. Not really ideal because you're going to end up losing them. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a bee from in here. And let's go with, say, we want a princess. Let's go with let's do a meadows princess. Okay. And this is going to be a little bit more controlled in the way that we breed it. And let's scan this. We've got a shorter lifespan, 2 times fertility. I don't see anything... I don't really see any reason to bother with putting any stats on these, honestly. I think they'll be good as they are. Okay, so what we're going to do... I feel like I might want to wait to get that fertility 3 times off of the forest. So I tell you what, actually. We have a forest princess right here. And really, we could just go bee hunting and get the forest. We don't even have to really run them, in truth. But let's try running this through the gene sampler. And let's see what we get. Maybe we'll get lucky and get fertility 3 times. Because I don't really need that other princess. And then, if not, I can go out and try to find maybe a forest hive and get some forest bees. Because they're actually not very uncommon, and then we could try just running those to speed up the process. We've got flowering slower. Okay, that's not really what I wanted. I'm going to put these into here for right now. Let's pop over to... let me grab... Just going to grab the scoop. I'm not going to worry about the rest of the stuff. The smoker for right now. Let's pop over to the magical forest. This one's actually pretty close to our base. And we are going to be looking for beehives. But we've also got that bee running, you know, in case we need it or something. But I think the main stats that I want off of this are flowers. Like flowers. Instead of having to use cactus or chorus plants or, you know, something weird like that, we'll just be able to use poppies or, you know, whatever flower. And we can actually transplant that onto the different bees. So we don't have to worry about, you know, weird plants and stuff that are required. I would like that. I'd also like the tolerant flyer so it works in the rain. And I want that fertility 3 times. Those are the big stats that I'm really after right now. So, which we have that one breeding. So if we don't get everything, it's fine. The main thing that I want right this second is just the fertility 3 times. So that we can apply that to our bees and make getting steadfast bees and steadfast stats a whole lot easier. It'll be a whole lot easier. When you have more drones, you have more options to pick from. So getting your fertility up really quickly is ideal. when it comes to crossbreeding. Okay, I'm going to pop back home. And we're going to try to run through some of these forest bees. Okay, so we're going to do that. Now you can also take species. There is a species trait that you can pull off through the genetic sampler, and then you can just say, turn your princesses into, you know, whatever species that you're after. But you have to have gotten that species before next episode. Look at that, first one, fertility 3. Next episode, I will say that we'll get into, we'll probably spend one more episode on bees, because I always get a lot of questions about bees, and it's better if we just try and cover like everything that I'm doing, because otherwise I'm going to get just a ton of questions on it. Okay, so we're basically bumping this up. You can see this one's fertility 2. Now it's fertility 3. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and do that. And we'll put that right into there. Now to take anything else, I've got no humidity tolerance, fertility 3, slowest speed, territory average. Okay, let's dump a few more. I've got a bunch of these ignoble bees. I'm going to keep this pristine one, maybe. I'm going to try to keep that pristine one, but we'll see how it goes. Because I wouldn't mind getting maybe a couple of the other traits, but I do have that other forest bee running, so it's not that big of a concern if we don't get all of our traits off of it that we want. Because we'll get more. But ignoble stock, pristine stock's like the good stock. Ignoble stock, basically what that means is eventually it's going to die out. It's not going to produce princess after, you know, after it runs for so long. It's going to stop producing princess. So inevitably it will die off. So if you want something for automation, make sure it's a pristine stock and not an ignoble, because otherwise you're just kind of going to go around in circles. And, you know, a little bit later on you're going to have to get a pristine stock. So go ahead and start with it. Oh, I didn't think about that. Bee sample effect none. We want that. Because either that or something that tolerates rainfalls. Maybe those aren't tolerant flyers like the other one that we have, you think? Because we have a forest queen that is a tolerant flyer. So maybe she was just special, I don't know. But let's go ahead and apply this effect none. Now later on there are effects that do like regen and stuff. Wouldn't mind having those. But for right now we're going to go with effect none, which basically is going to negate the poison effect and that end effect that are on our bees, so we're not going to take damage when we come up close to them. So right here, we've already negated the need for apiarist armor. Because apiarist armor, basically all it does is it protects you from those negative effects. Well, we can also just use this genetic template and have effect none on all of our bees. So, you know, they're not going to do anything bad. Okay, so let's put this right into there. We've got our fertility 3. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our bees that are over here. And remember, the main thing that I want off of the steadfast bees is I want cave dwelling. Right? That is the number one thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to run our meadows princess through here. And then we're going to run our steadfast drones through here. They're still going to be steadfast drones. They're still going to have cave dwelling. But their humidity tolerance, their lifespan, their effect, their fertility are going to be changed. Now, I think they have effect none as well, but if they had an effect, it would be changed. And we're going to dump all of these in there because we don't really need them anymore. We still got this poison and jungle flowers. Really, I don't need these either. I'm just going to dump them, I guess. I don't really feel like, in this pack, we don't really need like a database of all the different effects. You know, I did kind of a little database on all the mods. We kind of had like a database of like lots of different genes. I don't think I'm going to worry about it on this one. Okay, so we've got our bees, and now they've been altered. So if we take a look here, they're altered. You know, they have the short lifespan, they have the 3 times fertility and all that good stuff. So what we're going to do, let's take our apiaries. They're still not, I don't think these are nocturnal, are they? I don't think so. That's fine. We're going to put this right there. Drop in our bees. And let these go to work. And basically when they produce offspring, they're going to have some of the different traits. And, you know, they may be steadfast, or they may have steadfast meadows mix. They're going to basically mix those bee types together. Okay? And that's what we're after, is we're after basically getting some drones and breeding, not necessarily to get a steadfast bee, we just want the trait, the cave dwelling trait. So we may not even have a steadfast bee. You know, in Exoria, I went over all the different, you know, basically breeding up to different bees and stuff. And of course that was without gendustry. It's too dry, no flowers. Okay, that's fine. I was kind of expecting that, actually. Which, these, I think, want cactus, don't they? Is that what they want, is cactus flowers? No, just regular flowers. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to warp over to the flower fields. We're going to set up our apiary over here, in fact. And we'll dump our bees into there. Okay, so that's going to start running. Stop attacking me. I already need to take those in bees over and basically get their wings clipped so they'll stop attacking me. And we'll get a fertility 3. I'm going to set the extract off from this for right now. Just have insert. The reason being is whenever that bee finishes running, I want it. I want to pull it out and take it away. Okay, but now it's just a waiting game. We are waiting these bees to finish up. They have a short lifespan, so they're not going to take that long, but I'll be back here in just a minute. Okay, our bees have finished up running, so we're going to go ahead and pull out this Ender Princess and the Ender Drones. And, you know, we can scan these, see what we got. I mean, this is still the same stats, you know, as what we had. And then over here we have this Meadows Princess, for starters. If we scan her, you can see she has inactive steadfast. And she has cave dwelling as her active, not her inactive, but her active trait. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and run her together with another steadfast drone. Okay, try to solidify those stats, so to speak. Then over here we have steadfast as an inactive, cave dwelling as the active trait. We're going to go ahead and just put this maybe into there. And then let's see what these other two have. This one has steadfast inactive, and we've got cave dwelling active. And then over here we've got cave dwelling inactive. Okay, so what I'm going to do with these for right now, we're not going to jump on trying to get the cave dwelling just yet. We're going to put those Meadows drones in there in case I need to fall back on those. Because I don't have a whole lot of steadfast drones, so I want to be kind of cautious with them. Then if we pop back home, because basically the idea is we're just going to keep breeding those together until we get, hopefully, cave dwelling as a solid stat, active and inactive, so it's never going to go away. Breed those bees up, and then, you know, run them through the genetic sampler. That's really the only stat that I want off of those. Now, for these N bees, I'm going to go ahead and run this one Ender drone through here, because we only need one drone and one princess. And then the Imprinter, this is the one that has the fertility 3, the effect none, the lifespan short, humidity tolerance up. They actually have a short life as is, but that's fine. We're going to go ahead and put these two through the genetic Imprinter. Alright, and we got a Never Sleeps True. That's what I wanted. That is what I wanted, in fact. That means we're going to have bees that run 24/7. As long as it's not raining and they're not underground. Or, you know, they can see the sky. Now, once we get the Tolerant Flyer, and once we get the Cave Dwelling trait, then we're going to have bees that run 24/7 no matter what. Okay? So once this finishes up, we're going to add this to our genetic template. You can see the things that we don't have. We don't have a specific species imprinted into this template, so it's just whatever the species is. It doesn't change that. Never Sleeps, that's what we're working for. Flowering, we don't have anything for that. I'm actually not that worried about that. Speed, we are going to do something with that next episode. Flowers. Didn't we get the flowers? The flowers? Maybe not. We're going to try to get those. So it's just whatever, you know, just poppies or dandelions or whatever. Tolerates rain, we're going to get that. Territory, we're not that interested in. Cave dwelling, we're going to get that. Temperature tolerance, we're going to get something on that as well. We're actually going to fix up the humidity and temperature tolerance both. So, but anyways, our new bees are done. Let's go ahead and grab those. Now, these don't actually need the Never Sleep True. So I'm not, you know, don't have to reapply that. But we're going to go ahead and add that to our template. So we have 5 out of 13 different chromosomes applied to this genetic template. Okay, so now let's head back over to our flower fields. And now we're going to have end bees that will not hurt us when we stand near them. And we're going to set the extract back on for that. Okay, it's going to take a second to register the flowers. There we go, it's running. But we're not taking damage because we now have a bee with no effect instead of that end effect that damages us. And those are running, that's great. Over here we have common and meadows. So is this producing... This must have been mixed with a common bee, I think. Maybe that's why it had the tolerant flyer trait. You can see we've still got tolerant flyer right there. And then right here we do not have tolerant flyer. This one does not have tolerant flyer as an active trait. We're going to have to try to get tolerant flyer back on as an active trait. One other bee that we haven't gathered from the overworld. There are some in the nether, you know. But one bee that we haven't... Oh. Somebody set up a base like right here where my teleport was too. Oh, it's Eric Fussel's base. One bee that we haven't gathered from the overworld is winter bees. So we can check the stats on those real quick. Just to see what our base bees are. Now we can still breed for bees, and we will be doing that very easily using mutagen. But the wintry bees, they have a fertility of 4 times. I don't know if I want to push on to 4 times fertility or not. I'm actually not for sure. But they do not have the tolerant flyer stat. But they do have both 1 on humidity, so I wouldn't mind getting that. What I'll probably do is just fly around and get some wintry bees instead of breeding for them, because we'll be able to get the trait that we want. And the hives aren't terribly uncommon. So I'll try to get a humidity both 1... And I might go ahead and get the fertility. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything if we do. And then we'll have, you know, 4 bees per round. So that's as high as it gets to. 4 fertility is the max. So 3 fertility is honestly plenty. But we might as well get 4 if we get the trait for it. So... anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. Next episode, like I said, we're going to finalize bees. Basically, the only thing that we haven't looked into. Tolerant flyer, I'm not for sure. We're going to try to get that. But we are kind of struggling over there. We'll see how it goes. But if it doesn't work in the rain, it's not a big deal. But we can breed for some bees to make sure and allow it to work in the rain. But the main trait that we're going to be working on next episode on getting, we're going to have to do some mutagen work. And so I want to show you guys that. We're going to get a faster production speed. Because right now we have like slower and slowest speeds. We want something that's at least like fast. Okay? So we are going to jump into that next episode. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always... be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.